Yes, Fambulem, we are live. As I can like for say lately, it is a good feeling for be alive or for they alive, and then also the feeling of going live through modern tech. And I want to bring warm greetings to una. This na the TNN TV Media Empire platform. Today na the 27th day of June 2023. The 27th day of June, the 6th month of the year. Now the year 2023, now I don't split now the middle so. So pretty soon we will begin for your Christmas carols, and we know say Christmas is here and begin feel the weather. Having said this, Fambulem, I mean, on a more serious note, just 3 days ago we began elections, and the results then begin for announcement since yesterday, and today it became very clear as to who the winner is. And for this and some more, we want Rob Motspanam, and this is now a quick 1 hour program, and in fact we don't use 10 minutes already, so we get roughly about 45 minutes, 50 more minutes for go. But I don't want to follow on a touch that dial because we can't rob much lily bit about the elections, and we expect forget a guest. Maybe tell me earlier on say they get some constraint. No know whether it go feature, but this guest na Kasho Holland-Cole, the APC chairman for Western region. Western region, where have been critical components of this election results, we will just hear it. But we hope for get them on. Other than that, please help for share the program. Like I say, long, short. So call your company, invite somebody, tell a friend, bring a relative. That will kind of waiting the hub of the conversation. Get for say, just after the ink we then use for declare the winner, not even try it, and one can rob Motspanam. As I say again, this is not the TNN TV Media Empire. Today is the 27th day of June 2023. The time now beside is 11:12. That's at the UK time. Please don't touch that dial and help for share. Welcome once more, dear Fambulem friends, compatriots. There are times in life when months can happen in days, and there are times when days can happen in months. Well, in this scenario, we get months don't happen in days, and obviously we talk about the election results, not the election anymore, but the results. And the fact here is the results are out, and the winner, as declared by the constituted authority headed by the ECSL Commissioner, Mohammed Kane, has declared that the incumbent, Julius Maada Bio, has won the June 24. Can get them, you're a little bit confused. My apologies for that. But President Bio, the incumbent, has won the elections by the margin required for declare an outright winner, which is about, he got 56% or so of the vote, the total tally of the vote. Whereas the opposition leader, Dr. Samora Wilson Kamara, got 41% of the vote. Now, this is interesting because just yesterday, we had a very successful program where we try for analyze as to what the situation will look like. Because members say by the time we do this program yesterday, there was 60% of the vote already released by the ECSL. And there was plenty of ambiguity or confusion around the 60% released at the time. Because again, we say ambiguity or confusion because the man will release the reports or the numbers and not give appropriate construction as to waiting these numbers where it released in the form of the 60% actually represent. Because where they give out election results, a very technical thing, as opposed to district, as opposed to wards, although we not get wards again because of the PR system, but you get them polling center them. So when you give out a percentage of the vote, USA you collect them, and now which one of the polling center or polling centers you they talk about, waiting represents that number the way you release to the public. However, this not only we want to talk about today, I mean, largely is becoming historical. So what you want to talk about and focus on is there has been a winner. For win, somebody will have to lose, and for lose, somebody will have to win. There is an ancient Chinese proverb we say the beginning of a mile, it begin with the first step. Obviously, where this republic, where we did into so, because parliament, then get for usher in parliament for declare a new republic. But this republic will they into, where I believe saying that the fifth republic since after the war, depending on the elections, as we get the elections then. One critical thing about them is as soon as you they go into RAM, you they declare straight away your intention, most likely, of waiting you want for B or C in the coming new republic. For example, after President Bio will have been sworn in, that begins a new republic. They go outline the details of a new government, what he intend for do, and promises and extension of olive branch, peace, and etc. for move forward. But it will also articulate largely the future, what he expect for do during this new term of office. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking in the affirmative, and there is a reason why. I know there are many disappointed people around the country tonight. It's obvious. I mean, not very many people want to lose. And I don't even know one person we want for lose where them participate for something. No, not at all. There are many people where they go into a contest, not because they want for win. That's why they go into the contest in the first place. Okay? But you also get gamesmanship, because even when you put you everything into it, in the end, if you not prevail as to how you suppose say you be want, in other words, for win, then you get forget the courage, the strength for concede and say probably the better side got it. And the better side not mean say in this sense the cleanest side. I want to emphasize on that. The better side not mean say the cleanest side. The better side could imply whatever the game being get for offer, whichever way you being get for use to get to that point today to win, you employ all them tactics then they so you emerge the winner. Somebody can play safe by the rules, others will not, because the utmost desire for win na in the uppermost na the mind. We can take that into football game also, other competitive games. You see some managers them like na the English Premiership, they are known for not winning clean. Not missing they play the football. Then they play, but whilst other team them they want play clean, tiki taka, tao, pass, and things like that. Then you always see them kind of for muscle luna, but would I say let yourself not prepare for muscle orders? When as far as I'm concerned, it's a kind of an open, very open process. So anyway, to win, somebody will have to lose. And in this case, 5 years ago, when President Biokana power, if we go back to inaugural speech, of course, there was much said there. But one of the things that we been clear is he been prepared for this day. He also been not prepared so much if we been a follow that 1 year ago he declared in election calendar open. Well, of course, along the wayside, a lot of things happen. Like I want to repeat again, I have said most of these things, if not all of them. And that's the bad things. That's my concern with the rule of law. That's my concern with democratic practice, best practice, good principles of democracy, the pillars, the tenets of democracy, which I feel say been under fire. I never sat on the fence on that. I made it known. I made my view known. And for this, I got hammered. I got hammered. And as we speak today, I still get hammered. But the thing what I enjoy about this most is I don't only get hammered by one side, I enjoy being right in the center, while both sides, they accuse me of almost the same thing. Because in Sierra Leone today, you cannot accuse the other side, or you make an analysis which tend for put one side under the spotlight, and they're not really like that. And then it become an issue in which they don't take kindly to it. And instead of putting up a good argument, a good conversation on the basis of disagreement, because after all, we all know one, would descend into vulgarity, curse you up, curse you mama up, curse you family up. I suffered that a lot of times on both sides. But what I was always doing was try for stay right near the center. I can understand people and we make accusation directed at me, say, well, you support XYZ or you support YZX. I can understand that. I don't agree with them, because even if we can go back to that, you go find out, say, that all of the things that I say over the many years, notwithstanding that we not get biases, of course, we all do have biases of our own. I have mentioned this many a times, but by and large, what I talk about, if you bastardize the democracy, I don't care who you are. So along the way, President Bill and the people then did that a lot. The democracy was trash. It was bastardized. We get constituency 110, for example. I talk about that over and over. Who will tell me that I am wrong for talking about that? Who will say I am wrong when this was real time? That people go cast, in fact, they cancel the balloting 2 times, if not 3. Simply because one side been the win and the other side get power for annul the voting way been they go on there, and then send them people and they in real time, in camera, ministers, directors of government in broad daylight, so brazen. So I spoke about these things. These are all issues of social justice. As I talk about Ababa with the jail, Foster, where they put in a jail because they say he want go kill a high law and slimmer. Can you imagine that? Then Bobo then come on hospital, palava ensue. Soldier man put bullet in foot instead of hospital. Then can go to jail. I spoke about this, heal them inside with social justice system. But as long as now the other side responsible for what you talk about, we not favor them, then that means that because you belong to the other side. And then the other side, when you try to criticize them, like for example, the All People's Congress, the vice presidential candidates, I do a critical analysis on them. Just for the title alone, then cost me, mama, cost me up, told me how I'm a rapist. Can you imagine that? So you see, I've heard the worst of both sides. The worst of both sides. And this is not only one incident, simply because I criticize them. I don't criticize the former president, Ernest Bai Koroma. Okay? I don't criticize them. I've said many things, where most people they not get the mind, they not get the audacity for say. But I have said this all. Okay? When I forgive me, when I see me picture, but at least when they hear me. So that's about okay. When I give me 2 seconds, please. Just give me time to talk about this thing and try for this thing to rest. Yeah. We will try for this thing to rest. Okay, I think we got lights back. Oh, come on. What is it doing? I want the brightest one. Is it? Okay, please got it. Please got it. Please got it. Family, like I said, my apologies. We wait for Kasho. Hopefully we will get Kasho. Okay. So I just do some critical analysis of some things then what I don't do. Some people you can go to my YouTube page, by the way. We have over 500-600 videos there, spanning over 5-6 years. So you can visit me page and then you make the decision or conclusion for yourself. But just to try for bring this to now that over the many years, I've been critical of everything. I know say Usa stand in the depth of my heart, now on the basis of social justice. If you do good, I will talk about your goodness. I will applaud you. I will talk about not personal good. Of course, personal good is good, but I will talk about country as a whole. If you build bridge, I will praise you for that because the nation benefits from the bridge. If you build roads, I'll praise you for that because the nation benefits from the roads. If you introduce new economic policies which empower with people, put money in with people in pocket, provide opportunity, create opportunity for we people, I will praise you for that because this is a good deed indeed, and this is part of developmental goal that helps the nation as a whole to grow. This is what my concerns has been, will continue for be until God take me breath away. I will shy away from that. These are factual things. And as they say, over the period that I have sat and talked to Sierra Leonean people and the international community, we funds them all over the globe that are growing in the numbers. All I have done is try for criticize constructively. I repeat, all I have done now for try for criticize constructively. And I've done this throughout my career. Let's make this a fact. But waiting I also come for understand, Famulem, is whenever you criticize one side, the other side take them personal. And because you dey against them. And this bothers me a lot because what we can try for see is somewhere there are opposing forces. There are opposing forces. In those, somewhere in the center lie the gravity. Gravity in this sense, the country. Now you are defined as like gravity. Then on the sides are opposing forces trying to pull the country either way instead of staying at the center and let we all come in at the center and operate within there. So at this point in time, what we then need is leadership. Okay. So I know say these election results don't come out. We are not satisfied with these elections results. A lot, millions of Sierra Leoneans are not satisfied with the elections results. There are equally millions of Sierra Leoneans who are satisfied with the election results. So it's a difficult choice right there. What to make it even more difficult is one side think that they are right and they can make the argument and the argument can actually hold water because all they ask for is following a kind of a due process and just offer everybody the due process. So once that due process is given, this is why the maxim or the slogan, free, fair, and credible elections, the practice in itself is good. And this is why you have donor organization, the international community, our democratic guarantors. These are the kind of best practices that they call for so that there's an inclusive society, not a divisive society. Because a society divided can implode. And when it implodes, it's terrible. We saw this back in the 1990s, where as a consequence of bad rulership, bad politics, that's back in the 1980s. Gradually, we country were thin. It was so thin that it became a problem for the entire country that certain people could not bear. And something needed to happen, not from within, but from the outside. This is how the rebellion started. This is how the uprising started. And nothing I say now today, they call for such a position. Because if you don't depend war once, and nothing say you want for see and twice, despite the choices can be difficult, but I not think say even if you call for the strongest measure to be taken if you're upset by the election process, means say we for descend into war because war will only repeat Fambulem, destroy the little bit of we country we get, so we left. Having said this again, I want for let Fambulem know say we are equally operating on a divided basis. As I speak to Unaso tonight, the country is divided. There is plenty of work to be done. Again, these are facts. How you they contend with facts, how you they come up with things them way you can lay the emphasis for say these are facts. But of course, you look at the circumstances, you look at the evidence leading up to this. You look at waiting that happen now, not only waiting happen then, waiting that happen now. how we arrive as Usai we arrive so. And looking at the vote, if 41% they for and 50 some more percent they against, which means that there's a huge number where they against or for. Either way, the point I'm trying to make is there are division. I mean, I talked to one of my learned friend today. We all go school together. And I mean, they tell me, Prince, you know, the articulation when it comes to salon business, you don't need for primer too much. Primer in the sense that the way you can try for Liam, you get for understand the Sierra Leonean psyche. Because, like what you say, so for example, if the people and they suffer, they really suffer to that extent, then the president, the incumbent, will not have people gathering up at in rally them. But of course, I was concerned about such that earlier on I've been asked question. But if this is the case, how come the president they pull these crowds? I think on one or two occasions on with some of my guests they were invite. Then I did ask that question, and what did I say? These crowds are rented crowds. This was the phraseology used. They are rented crowds. I don't want to say I agree, but maybe partially it does make sense because when they look at that crowd now the response of the crowd, because you know, when there's an outburst of emotion, natural one, you just see how ecstatic people can be. But then some of the crowd, you can see how restrained the crowd can be, even though you try for whip them up, just like a Sunday church service where the drummer get for beat the drum for sending you into a kind of frenzy. So where they react now is almost not of your own. But we not see that kind of favor in some of the rallies. So this is what they talk about. So the guys say the approach is it should be completely different. The methodology should be different, and understanding the psychology of the people, which I think I do, but how you go about them has to be kind of different. But what we do know is, again, I repeat, the nation is divided. And I mentioned earlier on, say, now fact, you cannot deny this. So the president-elect has a job on his hands. But here is the thing again. You see, I find it difficult on the cusp of victory when there should be celebration, but the kind of celebration, then we therefore avoid just going into this celebratory mode and forgetting for no say that there is a problem, that there's a significant percentage of the country that is very, very unhappy, very unhappy. And the reason why we arrive at this unhappy stage is because the lead up to the occasion itself, where now the elections, which was something like 72 hours ago, leading up to the calling of the results and the manner in which they were called, and we see the contradiction with the result with new pool, that's National Election Watch of Marcela Samba, where we also get access, to the databases that were being used. It sounds really contradictory because there was not supposed to be an outright winner, and we also try to make predictions on them basis the day. So once I talk again, una keep tuned, una continue for shit, and una not relent because the streets are parts the cap, the streets are parts to glory. The streets are parts to glory the cap. The streets are parts to glory the cap. This family. Okay. I hope so. This is the last time I have to interrupt this channel. This is the last time I have to interrupt this channel. And wanna forgive me for waking up. They go and they come. Okay. So basically, we get an appreciable number. As usual, please. If una can just share, I think we get over 400 live viewers, 450 live viewers. Yesterday, we maxed over just a little over 3,000 viewers, which was very, very good. We also remember how we get for transition. We can't just talk about politics. We might go into documentary making. I'm looking at this seriously, Fambulem. My friend again advised me there are many areas we can go into. Environmental, for example. Freetown get many environmental problems, So these are things that you can even, how do you call it? You can collaborate with with government, with other municipalities and city hall, for example, because they get all the data then they. So we'll see what happens. What will they make of this? But what I've been to say is a lot of people, I mean, the country is divided. A lot of people are not happy. And on the way to this, because you want for win, you divide the people. You actually divide them. You set A against B, you set up B against C. Now you get a hard work. Once you don't achieve your objective, which was to win, how do you bring these people back together? How do you bring these people back together? This na inge for be a big deal for President Bio. But before we go there, I want for let we take a quick break where we come. I want for let we critically look at potential outcomes after this result has been read. President Bio declared the winner, the swearing in, and any other potential outcome. Like, for example, we see the All People's Congress say they don't agree with the results and they find it unacceptable. There are many people, even before they come to studio, calls and messages them still on my phone. And as we talk, messages are still coming in where, like, well, APC, you keep saying things over and over. It's like a bulldog that barks but cannot bite. That's why the APC, they begin for look now to people. There was a 72-hour ultimatum. Understanding what an ultimatum is, waiting will happen after that ultimatum, they phase out. Waiting will happen. We go look, nothing not happen. So if you been try for intimidate your opponent self with that kind of seriousness, the way you go give them ultimatum, then after the ultimatum, nothing not happen. Instead, when you go open you chapter for read, now the Bible verse, now you go read, they talk about peace, which sounds good. But then if that now the thing where you been there after, why did you threaten 72 hours where we know say you been there ask for certain things? And if those things are not met, then therefore that 72-hour, the way it expire, you go see what they do. 72-hour expire, will not see nothing. We also see some shambolic performance them in which we, the electorate, then got confused somewhere in the middle, in which data, then say they give data. Because what me understand is the ECSL say the data we then supposed for give political party them. In fact, they know they discriminate within and give one political party, and then they give everybody that they don't give a political party them the data we then supposed for give them more than 3 weeks into the election day itself. But then we continue for year say they want the data, opposition party, we want the data, the disaggregated list. We salon people them. They begin turn to like talking points, disaggregated list became the talk of the week. Whether you understand and what you know, but everybody's lip was disaggregated list. And I say again, like the shambolic performance later on, then say a data was given to the opposition party, the APC, and then the APC 24 hours later tell we say the data was withdrawn by ECSL. Why, we don't know. Whether it was given in the first place, we don't know. But that's what they said, allegedly, and then it was withdrawn. Few days later, we see the display of another APC strongman saying that they have finally been given the data that 250,000 names that were earlier deleted from the APC stronghold Panda data day has been restored. There were many things said. I mean, that clip there of Dr. Conte went viral, and that will remain profoundly historic for many reasons where we will talk about probably on another show. But that was what he said. He sat there calmly, and it was like some leadership that has just taken over. They make announcement to the people that we get even demonstrate them, but for few seconds, and smart eyes, we pause them, zoom on them, be able for pick up, say, but there's nothing really different on this, except maybe the difference might be on a different page, but it looks likely more like waiting and belong you already. But this has been the level of hypocrisy and deceit will be happen where it became sort of a laughing stock, if you like. Some people let me take it seriously, but some other people let me not begin to scratch their head. It's like, hang on, waiting to go on. Something cannot just be right. Anyway, 72-hour phase. And the reason why we now know say they come up with that, well, we've got the data, but there was a list of demands where the APC give the ECSL. Just looking at that list of demands day that are based on the 72-hour deadline. Oh, so based on the demands them, you have to think twice as to whether then demands then they will be met. Because it may almost look like suicidal. Because if Mohamed Kone be not do a homework, or like he was being accused, that many things was be there in place, or whether it not be even there in place. It may not do in work done. And waiting the APC they ask for now a reverse of all of witness suspects say in don't do, we're not there in the favor of the people vis-a-vis the APC. Well, I don't understand. So that means the entire structure where Mohamed Kane be not develop, we be not build, it go get for broken down and start all over again. The impossibility about this is the most critical thing, we're very elusive or was very elusive than the issue of time. Time was never there for even go back there and talk about ID card. The substandard nature of the ID cards. Yeah, it is true that even as they go into election, there were significant, issues surrounding ID cards. ID cards were of substandard. Voter registration, people then for come with and sleep. It doesn't matter if you don't get your ID card, but you can come with your sleep. I mean, there are so many things. This can be an entire program for almost 4, 5, 6 hours just talking about this alone. And the fact that we now have the benefit of hindsight means that we can talk with authority about what we now know say be happen. Such are all these things. When they say they don't give them the data some 3 weeks ago, then at the ECSL chief of operation, I get few friends now, some political party, and say the political party and then Pash Fish Blysef, Boku, I think 16 of them. I know few of them personally can send them messages. Did you get any data? And I was told outrightly, no. They don't get any data, especially 3 weeks ago. So there was no data made available to these people. So which data now the major opposition party they talk about? Was the data given to them during that last period for kill off this notion of the 72-hour ultimatum so that somebody not make somebody shame? Because if you don't give ultimatum, then definitely you get for live up to the ultimatum. I want for we'll take a quick break. We get only one advert, and then from there we will go directly into the critical aspect of what it mean Marcela Samba Sise in report. We contradict Mohamed Kone in own results, the swearing in of the new president, and potentially waiting for face, and the new republic. Una keep tuned. This now the TNN TV media empire. Today, now the 27th of June, 2023. We talk to Una once more. I'm in Prince Emil Koma, and we come to Una with this very, very special program tonight on the Then and Now TNN TV Media Empire platform. That would take this quick advert.
Everything was dark, oh yeah. All of a sudden, came the lights, and everything was feeling right. People started dancing. They called me over to join in. They said, "JT, not your business. Come on and join the reggae jam." I heard them singing, ooh la la la, let's go dancing, ooh la la la, reggae dancing,
Okay, Fambulem. So una don't hear and una don't see out una only eye them. And una bear with me, please. Una bear with me. Una bear with me. Adverts day for now. So now the St. Joseph Convent School Namakeni. Now the woman and then they come together, of course, for promoting the school. Everybody should be doing this because schools are not doing very well. As how we been sabi them. So maybe we building them with school there where we go to, they might be dilapidated if any way they for help. Now for help. Most of we don't do that for many years now, and not too active in them regarding the again because we on school level we go Boku and not I go Holy Trinity na Kisi Road, and then from there I go Cathedral Lusa take me selective entrance, and I don't go there a few times, and I can't believe the building where we've been there don't turn a dump site, completely different from what it is the way we go school where you get Victoria Park lawn, well trimmed, you get fountain where water they come outside, will be go and just go look at all this admiration who then can whole exhibition with different stalls them, cacao, SLPMB, and different formations them. Yeah. And then we get an amusement park just next door, so they go do swinging pool and merry-go-round and you name it, and then move on up to Albert Academy. But this is many years ago, and many people have come after us. But again, family, what we talk about now today, now the election results as pronounced by the constituted authority of the ECSL. We're happy for B. Mohamed Kane. And Mr. Kone don't declare the result. And the result, it shows a President Bio get 56% of the vote, and the opposition party leader, Samora Kamara, get 41% or so of the vote. So President Bio is duly elected president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. As they swear in, he becomes the executive president. And everything else will have to go by the same procedure we will be go by shortly before they dissolve parliament, and everything was suspended because of election. But here we are. I don't send me on congratulatory message, and I can read me congratulatory message here for let everybody hear it. But it's not a big deal because when I go see them as well. And this is it. Sorry, I'm not able to put them up yet. But when I go see them shortly, those of you where they follow me now social media. The message read thus. Now that a winner has been announced, despite the circumstances, I repeat, now that a winner has been announced, despite the circumstances, listen to the emphasis, we must rally behind the new leadership and help the president-elect take the country to higher heights. We must rally around the new leadership and help the new president take the country into higher heights. Burning bridges is not the solution. Burning bridges is not the solution. Bridging gaps is the way forward. Embracing, interlocking, making peace, extending olive branches just for one common goal so that we country will prosper. Congratulations, Mr. President-elect. That's my message of congratulations to President-elect Bill. Sometimes you can want to address what people and go say, but it's needless because as you understand the society more and more, you define a needless for address some issues then, honestly. So it not me say because you be opposed, so because I be opposed now I cannot, congratulate the president-elect. That's not gamesman spirit. I am a gamesman. I play games. I've been on competitive level, even in debate clubs. I've been there. And when you lose, you have to concede. Sometimes it's hard, it's bitter, but there's always another day you study on why you lost, and then you move forward and you go train or understand and do what's necessary for that you do the needful, and then you come back again. You come back again. I know many souls are hurting. I know many homes are grieving. Like, for example, people die along the way inside this process. So you don't see those Sierra Leoneans, we can't fend the goodness inside their heart for sympathize with such family. Come on, man. I mean, in death, there is no coming back. Under the circumstances in which some people have died, these are loved ones. This is not somebody in Peking, uncle, auntie, cousin, daddy. It hurts, and these things remain inside for a long, long time. In fact, they don't go away. Parents of children who lose their lives, then go on for die, bitter. Spouses and other relatives might probably be around, and this does not augur well. A nation of this kind will always get this dark cloud hanging over it. And you as a leader, you strength not to because you get all the guns around you. You strength now how you use your wisdom for lift you people them up off poverty, for make you people and smile and laugh and pray for you, that your days on earth shall be long. This is where your strength really lies. Not for the demonstrating here like the Sojamanwaki always talk about, I think he's a member of the Presidential Guard. We can dress on fearful way, like say, they war front. They threaten, not incompetent Sojaman them, but civilians. People where they pay money for buy the uniform where they wear. You see, that new trend they will begin seeing at the country, totally difficult for understanding. How do we do away with this? Sometimes the way the damage is done, for undo them, it becomes so difficult. It can be done, but it becomes extremely difficult. But Fambulem, whichever the case, the president has been announced, elected, duly elected. Yes, we are not satisfied with the circumstances. What do? Do we go and burn? Do we go and loot? Do we go and pillage? Do we lose further more lives? Can I use my platform for appeal to Fambulem that there will be another election? It might be a difficult one. Who knows? President Bio might have a different intention altogether. He might be having a third-time dream in his head. And to do so means that you therefore manipulate the Constitution. I speak theoretically now, but also proverbially, because some things can come to pass, and you can look at, trends, circumstance. President Bio can come and use the Constitution, doctor them, manipulate them. This is not strange for African leaders. They do it all of the time. For perpetuate himself in power for probably a third term. And if he says so, then generate the same way how they do Mohamed Kone. We take the country into a referendum, say na so, the rules are bent, you doctor things up, and then you come, you make a pronouncement, say, well, wait till we ask the referenda, it come out as a yes. So therefore, we have been authorized by the electorate for change X, Y, Z. And that becomes law. That becomes the prevailing nature of things in the country. So it's not impossible. Fambulem, the point here is we don't want to burn bridges. We don't want to be on a critical note for tonight. We want to be on a reconciliatory path. We want to appeal to those aggrieved Sierra Leoneans. And I'm doing so as a citizen, as a patriot, as me concerned as to all what I don't do, those of you who listen to me. The reason why I was being critical is for government for Yeri, then shortcomings. This is the issue about criticism. This is the issue around protest, and you name it. We don't need for shed one more blood. And as I speak, there are skirmishes ongoing. Earlier on, I get caught in which they say gunshots was being fired. They not be understand whether na jubilation, and up till now, I not even get the feedback yet, or na something like they happen. And we know certain things then they go take place. But if we can restrain ourselves, and probably this is the difficult one, because All the things the way people are not doing in the past for going to the court for go look for social justice, it not happen. It not happen. Because why? The justice system, they don't weaponize them. It has been weaponized a long time ago. State institutions had been captured. The politicians, they wait for help lead the fight, they are behind. They're not there before, then they're behind. And making our people the sacrificial lambs. This cannot be tolerated anymore. The need for lead the fight if they need for lead the fight. Let me give you now an example. I mean, they talk about the 72-hour ultimatum. So what's the end of the 72-hour ultimatum? Where most people been expect say the last day of the APC then rally at Tuga Stadium, outside and pull this massive crowd, which could have been a rallying cry and rallying point for any dissension where they want for do, it turned out to be completely different. Instead, the leadership left, then go Pujenwu. What did they go do Pujenwu at that time? Waiting you they go do Pujenwu. When the action na tongue the ide and you can mobilize, and if na Pujenwu you want mobilize, you can start and by showing Freetown. But even now, we know say where you go Pujenwu, what you go do there. So we understand say this was a dodgy business. So you give the ultimatum and you dodge the consequence by leaving instead of mobilizing and staying with the troops. You and your vice president, presidential candidate. Now so I say, now so I understand. I've spoken to people from within. We suspect that this is the case. And when you look at the circumstances, what else would you say, Fambulem? What else you will say? The rallying point is in Freetown. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands had been mobilized. The whole city turned red. And then you left from there, you go Pujenwu, and you had a 72-hour ultimatum. And guess what happened with the 72-hour ultimatum? It became a joke on social media. Like what happened, so people begin make joke out of them. So this is what I'm saying. Politicians are really cowards. They pretend that they are tough talking and tough men and etc. When the first bullet is fired, they'll be the first for run go under the table. First. Then grab the money, then feel say they're very clever. Then they dress, they smile and go to the mirror, they look themselves and tell themselves basically how very clever I am. Because you they misuse and misrule people then. But when it comes to time for action, you want to put other people in for take the bullet for you. Sierra Leoneans, I'm speaking to you. A president has been elected. You may not like him. He may not be your cup of tea. In the interest of country, I repeat, in the interest of country, it's time to flip a new page. It's time to go back on the drawing table, those of you who opposed, those of us who opposed. It's time to go back. I'm not saying that we should stop our criticism, because the number one duty of the press, the number one duty of patriotic citizens is to hold government accountable for their doings. And government no need for persecute people them because then they hold them responsible for their doings. The reason why then they highlight their doings there is because they are not being done well. And if you listen, then you will learn and do what the people and they ask you for, which works in your interest and in the interest of the state, because your duty, your number one duty as well, now for make sure say the welfare of your people is met. The welfare of your people is being sought. The welfare of your people is out there up and above everything else, and your people are happy. That's your number one prerogative, Mr. President. So if you know they happen and people come out and criticize, take that criticism there with a pinch of salt and try for work on them. Don't bastardize people because they criticize. Allow more freedom. I can understand the strain and the fear of people assembling, because obviously you get wicked forces whose intention for assemble now for make mayhem and mischief. But these are your people. So I say again, just before I end this program, that the president has been duly elected, and is duty bound on Sierra Leoneans. As much as we disagree, you can go sit down at your corner silently, but no wish the country ill. The president may have made many mistakes in the first quarter or the first term of office, and he's probably learned. I don't know. And let me be honest, Fambulem, I don't know. I really don't know. This is not the last 1 hour, last 2 minutes. I really don't know. But waiting I will say this. idea that he has been elected into office, yeah, the idea that he has been elected is, and he say, we therefore cannot trust him. The idea that he has been elected into office means that we therefore cannot trust. Because waiting at the alternative. Now that for the ask yourself, waiting at really the alternative, family. Waiting at the alternative. Now for go fet, now for burn bridges, now for kill, now for mobilize and begin through, and the security forces are really prepared. Meaning they say like disobedience not for there or people enough for express their thought, but not to at the time where fire they burn, then you want for do that. I mean, it's a difficult choice, to be honest, because people are not being left with many an option. Because even if you are good, Kingsley, go on. Sorry, Kingsley. Kingsley. All right. So hold on for me. Yeah. Send. Okay, so we get this problem, yeah. Let me just go over this quickly. All right, Fambulemen, this is it. Let's support the new leadership. Support not means say we can't criticize. You can continue for criticize. I'm going to be criticizing. The point I'm trying to make is like an era has ended. Elections result, as much as we take them with a pinch of salt, the way it was delivered, the mannerism, the methodology, and the ambiguity around this report, this result being read. Of course, it's difficult for taking, but then there's a process left, which now the court process. I am not happy about that either, because you doubt whether you're going to get justice in there, but you have to give it a shot. Other than that, what else? You're definitely not going to be asking for chaos, because if you ask for chaos, remember, say we're in for the for one man do not. We've shed too much blood already for the past 25 years. I don't think we should be shedding any more blood. Instead, now for find ways around on how we can be more effective, how we can be more constructive, and how we can help we country. We need for begin for petition with president. We need for begin for hold up to account in a different way. We need for begin for organize, have think tanks, not the one way that they buy over like some of the CSO the way we see, some of the journalists the way we see. There should be a new beginning. Sierra Leoneans, I thank you all for watching. We remember how for transition, and hopefully we will transition. We might start for do documentary, like I say. I've got something like 600 videos on YouTube, and we've got like over 1 million viewers on of course over 1.5 million viewers. We're doing quite well. I'm quite pleased with that, and we need for transform and shape this, and we need for begin for collaborate on different levels. So it's not only politics. Like I say, I might go into a documentary. I might look at environmental issues. Why Freetown they can do documentary on that, and there's plenty of data na Freetown Day. So we see waiting to come in the many months and years to come. But I congratulate the president-elect once more, and Sierra Leoneans, much love. And until we catch up again very soon, we appreciate the number, just a little over 1,000 people tuning today. We're not able to interact with our messages then today because of time constraint, but we will come again soon. And I believe I get a program tomorrow where we scatter this one old program where President Bio win, how we win, and waiting it can happen in the next 5 years, and potentially other things that we would think about theoretically. For the TNN Media Empire, I am Prince Emil Krumah, the Seto Tada, and many thanks. More as we get it. Goodbye. Una joining tomorrow. Una watch out for the flyers. Many thanks for tuning in. Love you all from the bottom of my heart. It's a new beginning.